Welcome to the Nevcast, where three bros talk business, art, justice, and the pursuit of Jesus.
Any day above ground is a good day.
Get ready to laugh, cry, and kiss 30 minutes goodbye with Peter Nevland,
Dave Nevland,
and
Rashid. Welcome back for part 2 with Opie from Minneapolis, well, Minnesota. St. Cloud, Minnesota. Yeah, he was on a roll, so we wanted to keep that going and not cut it off too short. So here we go.
Nevcast Opie Part 2. Is it?
I had a stroke in the lower left cerebellum, which is primitive to humans. It was about an inch long, and I just woke up one night, and you know how you wake up and all I seen was gazillions of triangles. And got up, fell down, got up again. You know how you kind of leave your underwear drawer open, the top drawer sometimes. You know, you don't close it away. Fell against that, cut my head open, and had to go to the bathroom right now. So a friend of mine out there, they had a volunteer ambulance. You know, came over, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to the hospital. You know, because I knew it cost money. And he said, no, you're going. I'm taking it. So they didn't diagnose a stroke. They said I had an inner ear infection, put me back in the car, and sent me home. And then I was supposed to see my real doctor, or my regular doctor, on Monday. So I went and seen him, and his name was Dr. Draley, but I just told Roger, I feel pretty good. I knew him pretty good because we smoked cigars and played poker once in a while. You know, at the bottom of the clinic, you know? Yeah. And with that, he said, Opie, you know, sometimes we got to check under the hood, you know, see what's going on. He says, you're not looking normal. And he says, you know, notice your face kind of drooping a little bit. So my left side, which was odd, was kind of paralyzed, you know. So here I am now with 3 kids, wife, you know, and all kinds of bills mounting up. It's not like you get paid a whole lot on disability or anything, you know what I mean? So I had to go through all that. And long story short is I had a TIA, another temporary intracranial occlusion, I think that's what it's called. And so they flew me down to North Memorial, and for like 6-8 months they were checking. Matter of fact, they even sent me stuff for Social Security to be on disability the rest of my life. Wow. You know, because they had found the cause. Right. So I had to contact an attorney, to keep my name out of that database because I had to work. I didn't have a choice.
Right.
So the defining moment was then, I guess, that made me really realize that, hey, you know what? You don't know if tomorrow's guaranteed. Right. Right. So long story short, went in. I had an atrial septum defect, a hole in my heart, which is pretty common. Now they fix them as you're a baby. Right. And you just learn from that. And, when you get stapled together and you're looking at a scar on your chest, at age, 27, you're like, man, I got these kids I got to take care of. There's all kinds of things I got to do here. This ain't good, Yeah. So I stuck through it, did what I needed to do, and then finally got out of school. And what was cool is I was in the heating and air class then, and my teacher came. I was the oldest guy in the class because, all these kids were high school kids. Right. He came to the hospital to give me my test, which was cool.
Wow.
He didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 27 and 28. All the kids would call me Pops. You know what I mean? So that was kind of funny. I'm like, God damn, I'm only 27. What are you talking about? So, I mean, that was really cool. I still talk to my heating and air guy, teacher.
Yeah.
He's still there. He should be retired about now, but I still talk to him about once or twice a year. Tell him thank you, and he loves my commercials on TV, on the radio and stuff like that. But
right.
So there's been people that came through in my life too that just gave me that little glimmer. Hey,
right.
And it just shows you that just something so small can still touch me today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. You know,
we got to talk about the genesis of Opie's Angels somehow.
Well, and it strikes me too. I thought it was really interesting. You know, one of the things when you were talking about, you know, even when you were a kid, you said, "Hey, I'm 13. I got to do whatever I got to do to survive." And so you started going out, you know, hustling, obviously in the wrong way, right? Doing things that were illegal. I know. I mean, you said there was violence, and I know you've told me before some of the stuff, but even in that, like, because you had a mother who loved you, because there was love in your life, there was like a spark of creativity that got lit in you, and so that thing that made you dissatisfied with just the, you know, the whatever $9.17 an hour chicken job, that said, you know, I can go out and do some stuff that's better than just receiving whatever it is from this, you know, corporate monolithic type of environment. You know what I'm saying? Like there was this thing that was alive inside of you, even though it got started maybe in the wrong way, that then, you know, you went and did something to learn a trade that then you could start making a living with that would be better than just receiving a handout. Because basically that job that you had was almost like a handout, right?
Almost. I mean, in a way, necessity was the mother of invention. Something needed to happen, and no one was doing it, and he had to do it.
Right.
And so you just, you flip a switch and you do it. I mean, you try to figure it out and you do it, and
Well, and then all these people, you know, I mean, I saw this documentary not too long ago about, it was a group of kids in a high school that was a predominantly black neighborhood, and there were shootings there all the time, like you were describing, and they were talking about, they started a rowing team, the first ever all-black rowing team in America. You know, it's basically a white sport, and so people were like, what in the world, you know, who are, you know, these guys are a different color rowing. And but these kids, they all talked about, every one of them had stories that almost sounded exactly like yours, Opie, where they grew up seeing their friends being shot for jackets and shoes, and they said, you know, when you grow up like that, it's like you're growing up with PTSD, with trauma, you know, and that in the middle of the war zone of your life, there were these people, you know, whether it was your mom or whether it was this instructor that came in and gave you this little ray of hope. And what's so awesome is that you grabbed onto it. You know, some people don't make it, but you made it. And then once you made it, you know, then you started going, well, I got to take care of my kids. I want to start taking care of other people. I just think it's just so powerful. It's so awesome. And, you know, I mean, I always say to people, I mean, I got a mom and a dad, and I've got brothers and sisters who are incredible role models for me, and friends that were all around me, people who invested in my life. And I'm like, if I don't do something good with my life, well then, you know, I'm the worst there is. You know?
Excuse me, go ahead.
And then, you know, it's like, then we meet and there's something that we share, right? The fact that we can share despite having such disparate, you know, different lifestyles, and the amount of respect that I have for you and appreciation for who you are and the way that you value people and treat people is just off the charts, you know, because I know how hard it was for me being in an environment where I was taken care of.
Right.
And I just can't even imagine what, you know, growing up in a war zone and finding a way to listen to the voices, you know, who are positive and who are encouraging you and saying, no, those are the ones I'm going to listen to, not the ones that say I should just blow it all up or, you know, destroy it all or just only care about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's you know, PTSD is probably correct 100%. You know, it's just a matter of learning how to deal with your demons, you know, and it's getting easier. It's a lot easier now, you know, obviously. I'm getting much older.
Right.
But, you know, there's a lot of times that, you know, you struggle, you know, and you just wonder, hey, you know, what the hell? What's the right thing to do? I just got to do the right thing, you know, and then you just The man upstairs, he helps guide you, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you still got a moral compass, and you still got to remember who you are. It's not about the money I make. It's not about how good I am or anything else. It's all about how you treat the next person, because you never know that person you might need. I gotta say,
right.
Be careful the toes you step on now, because no matter what, they're probably going to be connected to the ass you got to kiss later. So I live by that model, right? You just treat everybody as fair as you can, as possibly as you can, with obviously boundaries. You don't let anybody come into your space or to come hurt your family, and that's just from growing up in that environment.
Yeah.
And there's it's a defense mechanism, I suppose, or a protection mechanism to make sure I'm not hurt or my family's not hurt. But for me, the money isn't anything really.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna get a good suit. I'm gonna be laying in the coffin. You know what I mean? It ain't like I'm going to die with a bunch of money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? True. And while I'm here, if I can make somebody happy or give them that ray of hope, I got dozens and hundreds of people, successful things that have happened. And you know what? Peter, I tell you all the time, them people are coming back to buy from me and tell me powerful stories on how I changed their life.
Right.
There's nothing more rewarding in my life. There isn't.
Right.
Besides my children, it's just great to hear it. You know what I mean? That you were our Santa one time. You know what I mean? I just had a family last year in Rice, Minnesota, that they had 3 little girls. They were living in Watkins. Their family had nothing. Dad had lost a job, and Mom wasn't making enough. They just couldn't have Christmas, and I was able to give them some gifts and stuff. And then 3 little girls were all there at the house when they called me, and I didn't remember them because, shit, this is 10, 12 years later,
Right.
I'm getting old-timer disease, so I can't remember everything. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'm sitting there at the kitchen table talking to them, and then finally the oldest girl that just graduated from college, when it comes it all out, I don't know what it's called, that where they're like the smartest kids in school, or one of them,
Right. Uh-huh.
And she just graduated.
Wow.
She had a little note she wrote me.
Huh.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all said thank you. And they bought a $12,000 system from me. It's not about the money, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but
I don't do it for the money. It's just I seen that their family unit was together. The mom and dad stayed together. They were having trouble. And they stayed together. They raised them 3 young girls to be great women, and I'm sure that other one, she's going to be maybe a doctor or a lawyer. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, powerful.
Well, and the family goes from not being able to buy Christmas presents to being able to afford a $12,000 system. Goodness.
Well, and we're continuing with this. I just want to describe a little bit of Opie's Angels as far as what I know about it, and let people know about it, so that people listening can maybe do it in their own community too.
That'd be awesome too.
And that's so. Opie, we advertise for people to nominate people that they know that need help, medical, financial. Usually it's financial, but they're in a dire straits, and people know about it, and so they nominate a family, and then it gets then they get picked, or as many people get helped as possible with some surprise gifts from Opie's 1 Hour Heating and Air through the program of Opie's Angels, so that they can stay on their feet and get the help that they need. Is that basically it? And and then we call them and thank them. We call them and let them know over the phone, and more people know about that because it ends up on a radio commercial.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's, and if they want to, they can nominate themselves. But normally it's obviously somebody else that needs that gives us the families, because a lot of them are so proud.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Right.
Like when I was a kid, like I said, when we went to churches, I thought that's the way you did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, it's not that I didn't know what a grocery store was or anything, but as you're a young kid, you just think this is normal.
Right.
I didn't know I was poor until somebody told me I was poor.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
So, yeah,
people know.
But the most rewarding thing I do is, to see them things, and then not for it to come back in business sense, but
right.
for me to be able to see these people successful and these kids. It's all about the kids. Grown ups make decisions for kids, unfortunately, and the kids don't know any better. They can't make a decision, So oftentimes they suffer for bad decisions,
right?
And it could be that grown up either didn't know better at the time or anything. So there's really no blame. But what it boils down to is we constantly get into these dysfunctional things, which I've learned, right? You just got to stay away from them patterns. You just have to stay away from certain people, certain things, certain triggers. And I think that's part of the PTSD or whatever you were talking about, Peter. That
right.
There's obviously challenges, and you just learn. You try to guide yourself, and I've got some professional help. I've talked to a guy, you know what I mean, a counselor,
right?
And he's helping out quite a bit. And it's just because it's a heavy bag. It's a lot of luggage, a lot of baggage to carry around, right? And by all means, I'm only trying to be a better parent, like every one of us, no matter what upbringing or anything. You always want to do better for your kids.
Yeah.
So with the Opie's Angels, hey, it's a lot of single parents I see, and the family structure is not what it used to be, and I got another story about that. I got a 97-year-old farmer that's been my customer for about 24 years.
Wow.
And I go out there every year myself to bullshit with him, right?
Right.
The guy should be in the world spittoon contest because he can shoot tobacco probably 28 feet and hit that can every time. I mean, this guy is something else, right?
That's amazing.
So he tells me a couple years back, he says, "Oh, what do you think of all this divorce and stuff like that?" He's pretty straight to the point. I said, "Well, I got divorced." I said, it wasn't, nothing bad happened or whatever, but it happened. He said, "No, you know why there's divorce? All these kids are running around crazy as hell." I said, "No, but I think you're going to tell me there, John, ain't you?" He says, "Yeah, I sure am." He said, "What do you think about it?" He said, "Back in the day when I was growing up and I had a mom and dad and I had a family, and as I was raising my family, we all had a front porch. Everybody sat out their front porch and seen all the neighbors. They could see what kid was acting a fool, told their mom and dad to get his ass licked." I said, "Yeah, that makes sense." He says, "Houses don't have front porches." I said, I thought about it. There's not a lot of houses with big front porches anymore, especially in the inner city. And if they are, there ain't people sitting out there.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody's retreated to the backyard. So I'm thinking about this. I'm like, this guy's a damn genius, and it's true. Everybody wants to retreat to the backyard, put up the biggest fence you can so you can't see through it. You don't want to see your neighbor. You don't care who your neighbor is anymore.
Right. So
that's why I say when I do Opie's Angels, that's the whole purpose of it, is to, this is a hand up, please do us a favor and pay it forward, even if it is just talking to the neighbor, shoveling their walk, bringing the mail to them, whatever it might be. You're going to make that person's day, because obviously in their life, there's not a lot of happiness.
Right. Yeah. It's
that's the key to everything.
I think we seem to think that as long as we're doing the right things, we'll be fine, but we're missing out on this huge thing of the people around us, being connected to them and having relationships. It's actually relationships give us life. closeness and intimacy give us life as opposed to just being right, you know? And even if that person's, you know, this lack of judgment, even if that person's different than you, you know, it's so easy to judge when you have distance. But when you're close to another person, it's very difficult to judge, and you can't anticipate the ways that they're going to bless your life and the way that you're going to bless their life. And I hear you on that, you know, as far as front porches, spending time with your neighbors, spending time with, you know, your family, and staying together, that changes lives. And I love that, you know, with Opie's Angels, you're bringing people's stories to the forefront that we've forgotten about. Not so that we can just give them everything they need, but so that we can let them know that they're valuable. Because when you find out when you hear that you're valuable again, suddenly that hope gives you the courage to then do something better than the situation that you're in. And I just love it. That's so awesome, Opie. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Talk to you, Opie. It's just it's so simple.
Yeah.
And we've lost sight of it.
Yeah.
You know, because we're so busy, so hustle, bustle on the phones, everything else, you know. I mean, look at your own family. My family, too. You know, it's all about a phone. You know, when they come to my house for Thanksgiving, they got to put the phones at the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to talk to your grandma. You're going to talk to your aunt and uncle. You know, you're going to know what it is, your aunt and uncle and your grandma.
Yeah.
It's not just about birthday gifts and birthdays that they come around and give you gifts. You know, and I think that's what's missing. You know, a lot of our core values as a country. You know, it's just that, you know what, we got so many other things that keep us busy that we forget what really makes anything matter, and that's family.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, that's so awesome. Thanks, Opie. Man, man, I could just sit and talk to you all day, and we'll have to do it later. Sadly, we always say, Pete, that you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll kiss 30 minutes goodbye. I think we're more on the 45-minute track with this one, but hey, man, it's been worth it. So thank you so much, and who knows, maybe we'll have you come on some other time and talk again. Would that be cool?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate you asking.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon, Opie.
You guys have a great day.
You too. We sure appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. That's it for the Nevcast this time. Join us next week when we talk justice, business, and art in pursuit of Jesus. We will see you soon.